Discipline means to teach, not to punish. Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you're joining us from. Yes, we're starting a little late today. Forgive me. It's about past 6 here in the ancient city of Kano, Nigeria. And yes, it's Independence Day. Hey, I'm supposed to be wearing green, right? Okay, I'm patriotical. Don't think I'm not. But anyway, it's all good. How are you doing? And how are my boys doing? And how have the last 7 days been? Yes, it's day 8. And today we're talking about, when discipline becomes destruction. Very linked. I keep telling you how everything is linked, where we started from day 1 up until day 7, it's all linked. And all we're just trying to do is to show you what your negative discipline has been doing to your child before we now tell you when you come to the workshop what you should start to do differently. So yes, today we're looking at, I'm sure you've heard this. You heard it when we were younger, when we were young, when your parents tell us that, I am doing this because I love you. Like, if I don't correct you, who will? And that's after you've gotten one factory resetting slap, or you have been yelled at, or you have been punished, corporal punishment, and all of those things they give us growing up. And then they'll tell you, I did this because I love you, no one else will do this, and all of that. So, but that punishment did not empower us. That punishment made us feel like we were not good enough. That punishment made us feel small. That punishment made us feel scared. That punishment was made us feel ashamed. It wasn't necessarily teaching. It was just that was what it was. It was punishment. It wasn't teaching. And discipline is not punishment. Discipline is teaching. So that's what I've been saying for the past like 8 days now. Discipline is teaching. So when it is that you want to find out, one of the main differences between discipline and punishment is that discipline is teaching. We think, oh, discipline is flogging, it's telling corporal punishment and all of that. I still I still went to, I was interacting with some adults, educators, and it was so hard. No, we have to use corporal punishment. These children don't listen and all of that. And I was like, okay, discipline is actually teaching a child to how to regulate his emotions, how not to flare up even when he's upset with his classmates, how not to hit even when he feels frustrated. But you have to teach it and you have to model it, not like we were saying yesterday, using harshness to teach kindness, using emotional dysregulation. You yourself, you're emotionally dysregulated, yet you expect your child to be emotionally regulated. So we are the adults here, and the earlier we take the word for adults is responsibility. The earlier we take responsibility, sorry, the better it is, because our children will be able to understand that we are not perfect ourselves, and so we make mistakes, and then we're learning new ways and we're growing together. The one thing I constantly tell my children is that we're growing. Like, even mama doesn't know it all up to today. I still, and that is me who is a coach, but it doesn't mean we're growing, because there was a time when I didn't know these things, and the way I parented, the way I disciplined was different. And so that has an effect. See, you don't recover from these things overnight. So can you give your children, can you be kind to them and allow them to recover from all of this hurt, that they felt, the shame, the feeling like they're not good enough, and feeling scared, feeling very small. All of those things, it doesn't disappear overnight. It doesn't disappear because, okay, now you've learned one thing, one parenting technique, and then you do it for 2 days and you start screaming and getting impatient and say, but can't you see I'm a changed person? It's you that you keep pushing me to go back to my old ways. No. Responsibility, take responsibility, accept that you're struggling. Let him know time and time again that whenever it is I make a mistake, don't worry, we'll get back on track. Just let him know those things. Yeah, so the truth is, every harsh word, every threat, every punishment is usually driven by our frustration. And what it does is that it creates tiny, tiny traumas in our children, which accumulates to become, a big disservice to them when they grow older. You see men today that cannot, they can't even be confident in themselves. Forget all it is that, happens in the home. A lot of the time, these men outside the home are not confident. That's the truth. These men are struggling with self-esteem issues. These men and almost all of us actually. Is what makes us different. It's not even like we're different necessarily. No, it's not, because even the way girls were parented, yes, they equipped them to be, how do I put it, to be very proactive, But at the same time, it chipped off their self worth and self esteem. So even though they can do things, their doing doesn't necessarily mean results, because are they doing things the right way? And it took me a long time for me to be able to understand it. That doing necessarily doesn't lead to results. That you're forming busy, you're constantly busy, that you're being the one saving everybody doesn't mean that you're actually growing. It could come from a place of trauma. So that was how we were parented to, save, to constantly help, to come to the rescue of everybody, including, the men in your life. And what that did was that made you attach your self-worth to saving people. And you always felt like till you can save somebody, you're not important. You literally attach your self-worth to how much you can wear yourself thin. And that's why you see women constantly going, experiencing burnout every now and again, because you're trying to save everybody. But the moment you let everyone become responsible for themselves, both your daughters, both your sons, and let them know that whatever it is you can't do, like you're going to walk that hall of shame yourself. And I'm not going to, yes, I'm your mother, I love you so much, but I'm not going to carry an unnecessary burden on myself for you. And that could go on to even the men in your life, even the adult men in your life, because you see a whole lot of mothers manipulating the ladies in the family. Oh, this your brother needs help. You have to, that's why you're his sister. And sometimes even the younger sisters, they don't care anymore. Oh, you're the one who, is because he's broke, is because he cannot pay his child's school fees, is because, and then they make the women go an extra mile. They have their own responsibilities, but they do their own, and then they come and they start picking up after, their brothers and people who have refused to be responsible. So can you see how it didn't start today? Can you see how we cutting the wings of our sons, yet today now we're dragging other people to clean up their mess? It didn't start today. But the bad thing is that even though we hated that situation, even though we hated being in that place where, in short, for some people, it's even culture. They'll tell you, oh, okay, no, every fasting, I have to go and cook plenty things. I have to do for my brother because, and I look at him like, is your brother handicapped? What exactly are we talking about here? Did they say food and anything that has to do with food? It's only the women that can handle it. So we create these things and we create very beautiful stories around it that helps us sleep better at night. But what we're doing is that we're cutting the wings of our children even before we allow them to start to grow. Okay, so what if he's in a place where he doesn't have anybody? And that's why you hear some men marry for the flimsiest of reasons. A lot of them marry just because they want somebody to do all of those house chores for them. So can we see how we are using our hands to, create problems, and we forget that it's our daughters that we have properly trained, and we've even trained them to think marriage is the goal. That's the only thing that is most important. And then they come in and then they start to feel frustrated because they came in with what happened to all of their dreams. Remember those very proactive daughters, that are able to do things. They did things with their parents, and now they ended up with someone who wants them to just keep serving and serving and serving, forgetting that you cannot keep giving. You cannot keep giving. You will start to, become bitter. You start to become very, very resentful and all that. And that's why you hear women who are in their 50s and in their 60s, and they tell you they are done with this marriage. Oh, after all of the children have left. And so what else am I doing? I'm done. So because it was the children that actually kept them. They walked out of that marriage a long time ago. They walked out of that marriage a long time ago. So I don't know how it is that we've not been able to understand that it was these patterns that led to these problems we're having. Who parents are in so much denial. They say, come to parenting class and no, you think, okay, no, there's no problem with me and my children. But trust me, if you sit down and you think, I think it's because we haven't been able to introspect. We have a thing with whenever something happens, we blame and point fingers all around. Down to Tinubu and up until Dangote, we keep blaming everybody. Down to the gatesman and down to the house help. We never sit down and introspect and say, okay, how did I even get here? Could it be something my parents did? Could it be something I did? Is there, so we haven't been able to form the link between how we're parented and the problems we're facing today. And that's why we feel like we're stuck. A lot of us feel so stuck a lot of us, like I said, it's not about the beautiful what's it called, the beautiful clothes we wear, how we adorn ourselves and go to work every day, and you're a CEO of one or CEO of one big fashion industry or fashion company and all of that. It's not, it's beyond that. How do you feel inside? What can you make sense of all of the things that are going around you that are not going right? Or are you just constantly feeling stuck and feeling like, okay, life is happening to me? Or are you able to understand where it's coming from? And that doesn't mean we disrespect our parents, and we no, they did the best. I keep saying it. They did the absolute best with what they knew how. But are you building upon it, or you're just taking it and chewing it and bringing it back again, and chewing it and bringing it out again without refining it? Yeah, so the word is refining. You need to refine whatever it is you got from your parents. Thank them for what it is that that they poured into you. But you have to refine it because times have changed. Times have changed. Times have so changed. So we can't continue to do the same thing and expect different results. I think I said that almost every day, and so you're being harsh with our children and breaking their spirits. It's in the way we we it's in the way we correct them, it's in the way we discipline them. So are you helping them to understand their mistakes, but doing that with gentleness, with kindness? Or I can't tell you how many things my children have broken because when they in the process of playing ball. I have four boys, and as you all know, and so sometimes they just, because they have a lot of energy. And yes, we created spaces for them to make, like go downstairs, that's where you play and all of that. But sometimes they just want to do a quick one. And I have lost a flower vase. I have lost, um, I have lost a wall clock. I have lost so much. Not so much, but a couple of things, just because they're trying to um they just that's play for them, right? And will you, because of that, now start to criticize them so harshly that they now feel like, oh, I'm a boy, and that in itself is something bad? Because trust me, till you speak to these children, you have no idea how much they are able to put into words the things you do to them, how it makes them feel, how they understand that it is wrong. They understand. So gone are the days when we, because of fear and because of how we're parented with fear, I don't know, we just didn't know so much. And a lot was dumped on us, and we just took it in and we internalized everything as it's my fault, is my fault, is my fault. I have sat down with teenagers over and over again, and I have heard them say it is my mom's fault. My mom did not do right. Like they know clearly, like they see right through us. They are not us who we just took everything hook, line, and sinker, and we sat down and we cry, cry, cry all day. Yes, it is breaking something in them, but it is also breaking how they see you. And it is immediate. Like for us, it happened when when we got older, and when we started to understand, we started to see the link. We're like, oh no, Baba couldn't shouldn't have done it this way. There must have been a better way. It's because he did this. That's why I constantly feel small. I'm constantly trying to people please. Right there and then, these people, these children can see the link, and they know. And but what they do is, yes, a lot of times they feel small too. It chips at their their self-esteem. But what that makes them do is, it doesn't make them scared of you necessarily. It doesn't make them scared of you. They might do whatever it is you want, and when you go, they turn the other way and do whatever it is they want to do. But what it does to them is that it makes them look outside for everything. It makes them look outside for validation. It makes them look outside for answers. They don't trust you anymore. So can you see how the times have changed? Can you see how we cannot continue to do what our parents did with us and expect that everything is going to be okay? Our not okayness, we start seeing it, I think, in our adulthood. Our children's not okayness, we start to see it now. Because trust me, you're pushing them to go to ChatGPT to go and look for answers, of which people LGBTQ, they're constantly waiting to receive them into their loving arms and tell them how don't mind your parents. Your parents are very not understanding, and I'm always here to help. Like these people that groom children online, you have no idea the extent they go just to make the children. So even people who have bad intentions for our children They are doing it in the calmest of ways. They are doing it in the nicest ways. Not talk of us who now have good intentions for our children. And then, funny enough, we're the one doing it in the harshest of ways. Can you see where the problem lies? So this is my call to you to come and learn better ways. I'm putting together the resources for this discipline workshop, and I'm just like, my mom used to say something that it's just that she cannot break our heads and put in the knowledge that she wants us to know. And so for me, that's it. That's it. I feel like I wish I could just wherever it is we all are scattered all over the world, I could just do something, a magic wand, and then everybody, all of this knowledge just goes and seeps into our brains, and all our trauma is just completely disappeared, and then we're able to take on these new teachings because it is so good, and children are so forgiving. You only need to practice it once, twice, and they see that you're consistent. They see that it's not like, okay, you're being fake and you just want to get something from them. I remember, someone sharing with me how her mom, when they were younger, like once you see mommy using nice words, "Olowori me," you're the best, you're this, you're that. Just know that there's something she wants you to do for her, and something outside your normal, your normal chores. She wants you to do something for her. But do we know that somehow that in itself was manipulation? Because you weren't giving me all of those good compliments because you really meant it. That same person, give her 5 minutes. The moment you've done that, she has forgotten about the good that you did because you did want something, you made a mistake. That same person will react so violently as if it wasn't her that was praising you just moments ago. So can you see how we have used our hands to cause problems, and then we do not want to redo it? We want to keep going and blaming our children. So this is my call to you to see how we can start to learn healthy ways of disciplining our children and not breaking their spirits just because in the process of claiming we're disciplining them. Because these children, what they grow to know about themselves, and it happened to a lot of us. That's why I have people around me, and you hear different things, and so you see someone who has a very big, is running an amazing business, very big, and then the person is saying, I really don't have confidence in myself, so I can't. There are some things I can't do. Yeah, and oh God, okay, how do I put it? Let me not go too deep. See, there are some things that you do not understand till you come into my inner my inner community, and we're taking what's it called, we're asking people to sign up already. It's starting in November, and I've gotten so many people ask me, can I sign up for mentorship? Can I sign up for mentorship? I want to be mentored by you. And that in itself is the answer to all of your problems. Whether you have children, whether you don't, by November, jump in short, and start with us, because it's going to be amazing. There are some things I can't just say here online because it will be misinterpreted, it will be construed, it will just be misconstrued, it will just be not taking the right way. But there we can actually break it down so you can see exactly how you got here and what it is you need to do to get out of where it is that you are. So I'm appealing, I'm inviting you that we should not raise children who will need to apologize, who need to apologize for just for existing, who feel they need to people please just so people can like them, who need validation from everybody, every Tom, Harry, and Dan, for them to be able to feel good about themselves. No, that shouldn't be the case. They should be able to see that they are enough, and they should have self-worth, they should have self-respect, they should have their self-esteem should not be bruised. But trust me, we are working. A lot of us have had our self-esteem, chipped away for every time we're yelled at, for every time we're screamed upon, for every time we're hit. And then we turn around and we say, no, our parents loved us. And that was why they did that for us. Yes, they did. But it was the how that was a problem. And this is my invitation to you to learn the new how, a better how. So we do not keep repeating the mistakes our parents made, and then we're able to learn from it and grow from it and become just amazing people, because we don't want children who, when they grow up, they leave us and then they never come back again. How they come back just to send gifts to us, they just send money to us just to keep us quiet and keep us there. We don't want that. So yes, this is my invitation to you to join our workshop, and we'll be waiting for you on the inside. So we have just 2 more live sessions to go, and honestly, it's been an amazing reminder for me myself. Honestly, And I hope it has been that way for you too. So till I come your way again tomorrow, goodbye and have a blessed evening. Yeah, bye.